5 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful Friday.
Gorgeous.
Every once in a while, we will hear about a book that we say, you know what, we got to get these authors on. We love what this book is about. We love there's something different about it. There's something touching about it, maybe profound about it. You name it. If it hits us just in the right spot, we will do whatever we can to get the author on. Very rarely do we find out the author lives right here, among us. So it was very cool to find that out. In the studio, John Bowen, Staff Sergeant John Bowen. I hope it's okay that I refer to you that way. Staff Sergeant in the U.S. Air Force, an illustrator.
Right.
I like the word artist as well. In Vietnam, renowned watercolorist and beautiful work. The book doesn't do it justice, to be honest. Robin showed me some of the work online, and you're outstanding. And in the studio with John is Sergeant Joe Martin, also a sergeant with the Air Force. The book that we're going to focus on today is called 11 Months and 19 Days, a Vietnam Illustrator's Memoir. Other people are shooting, and you're painting and you're drawing. So good morning to both of you. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
So how many illustrations did you do while you were in Vietnam?
Oh, quite a few. I don't know, hundreds, I guess, over the 12-month period. I only put 43 in the book.
Uh-huh.
Originally, I wasn't going to put any in there, but I thought, that's stupid because I'm an illustrator. I should illustrate the book. And they're in black and white for two reasons. One, because it costs a lot less to do everything in black and white. But also, that's the way I worked over there. I worked in pencil or pen and ink when I was, out sketching and on the bases and stuff like that. And sometimes I would, when I went back to the duty section, I would color them in watercolor, but most of my stuff was in black and white.
Is that right? So let's look at the pictures for a second, and then we'll talk about how it became a book.
Right.
I'm guessing you've been an artist like all your life. When you were a little kid, you were always the one sketching everything.
I started in the commercial art field right after I graduated from high school. I was working in an advertising agency.
But had you drawn before that when you were younger?
Yeah. My father was an artist.
Okay.
And I was trying to copy him.
Wow, that is so sweet. And where did you grow up?
I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
And when I was 10, we moved to New Jersey, Irvington, New Jersey. And I stayed there until I was graduated high school. I was 19 when I left, and then went into the Air Force.
So were you drafted?
No, I enlisted.
You enlisted?
In 1961.
Okay. And at that time, did you ever think in a million years that you'd be sketching in Vietnam?
No.
Okay, no.
I wasn't even sure I was going to get that particular job because I went into the Air Force because they did have illustrators. I think that was the only service.
So was that actually a job of yours?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess that part's...
I was fortunate enough to get it.
Wow. So the Air Force actually hired people, or assigned people, I guess is the better word.
Illustrators.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why did they do that?
Well, they do have a lot of presentations they have to do, and charts and graphs and things like that. So that's mainly what the illustrator's job was. I happened to be an artist, so when they found out that I had some ability, then they started assigning me different types of jobs to do. And when I was in Nam, they knew I was an artist, so that was one of the things they pushed for me to do, because I was out of the office. I was in the field. But as long as I completed all the tasks that they needed me for, they allowed me to do that, and it was quite an interesting job, side job that I had.
I'm going to go back and forth from the present to the past a lot, but in the present, have you had people who have looked at the book, who maybe are not normally readers, so to speak, who said, I'm flipping through the book, I'm reading the captions that you put under these things, and all of a sudden I realized I want to read the whole thing. Have you had that?
Yes.
That kind of feedback?
I've had a very good response to when people see that it's an illustrated book. It piques their interest. They want it.
Because I think that's the feedback we have gotten, is that people will flip through it and find captions under the illustrations, and all of a sudden they're reading a chapter or just reading more than just the captions, in other words. I
think it was a necessary thing for this book because it not only showed them what I was doing, but it gives them a sense of what's actually happening in the scene. You know, they can see it better.
Were all of the illustrations turned in? I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but would the Air Force say, this this cute girl you do this that you painted? Is that part of your assignment?
No. All of the stuff that I did over there went for various things. A lot of it went to the Air Force Academy. They came in one day and took all my stuff and said, it's going to the Air Force Academy as training aids to study airlift
Even the cute
operations.
girl pictures?
There weren't that many.
There weren't that many. I know. But
all of
that's
these
my
that are
mind. That's where
all
my
of
mind
these
goes.
that are in the book are stuff that I've done since, here.
I gotcha. Okay.
Because I had to start from scratch because I didn't have any of that stuff from there.
And so that answers another question that I was going to ask. Were these pictures lying around for the last? Okay,
These were from photos and slides that I had and stuff that Joe gave me to work from. And then also, if I needed somebody in a particular pose for one of the drawings that I was doing, I got my son or my nephew to pose for me, and I would take pictures of him and then make the drawings from that.
I liked how real the pictures are, that they depicted real events. There was that one time the bombing was coming, and you have the gentlemen in their quarters, hiking up their pants and everything right there. You're just, right there on the spot. And to me, that is very moving.
Well, a lot of that stuff is still, in my mind. So, I
bet. You're never going to lose
visions
it.
And then photos too. Yeah.
Let me just real quickly shift over to Joe. Joe Martin is here, also a sergeant with the U.S. Air Force. How did you become involved with this project, and what is your role in the project?
Well, John and I were bunk mates in Vietnam. John slept on the bottom, I slept on the top. So we started our friendship when I arrived there in December of 1967, 2 weeks before Christmas.
Wow.
And over that time, we became close friends. And then John left in November of 68. I left in December of 68. And from that point until 2010, we had not had contact with each other.
Wow.
So one day I'm on the computer.
No, wow.
I'm on the computer.
And where did you live? Where was home for you?
Well, I was born in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Lived in Virginia, Chantilly, Virginia for many years.
Okay.
And then in 2008, my wife and I moved here to the Villages.
Okay.
But when I was looking at the Tonsanute Association one day, which is a website for guys that were assigned there, and Lord knows there's thousands of guys that were assigned to Tonsanute Air Base. They had an alphabetical listing of guys that are members of that association. I said, well, I'm going to look through it here. And I went to the B's, and all of a sudden I see Staff Sergeant John Bowen, Illustrator, 834th Air Division. And I was like, you are kidding me. And it just had his state residence, Florida. So anyway, I went to the website and I typed in John Bowen, Florida. Well, it brings up this art group that he was associated with, and I brought that up, had his picture, and had a email capability to send him an email. And I did. I sent him an email and I said, you can run, but you can't hide. So about 6 months later, whatever, John came up to the Villages, and the Villages newspaper people came to me later and did an interview and took pictures and all that. But that was the first time that we had seen each other in 42 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did the book start because of the reuniting of the two of you?
No.
This is a 20-year project. I started it in '93.
Oh, you actually had this in mind. Okay, a while ago. Okay.
Of course, when I was over there, I never dreamt that I was going to write a book about it.
But now you implied earlier that Joe was able to help you out with some of the, is it photographs of the illustrations?
Right.
Is that right?
No, photographs that he had taken when he was over there. He had some. I had some of my own.
I got you.
And we put them together, and I came up with more reference material to do more drawings.
I took a lot of black and white shots because that's how we had it developed at that time. We didn't have the capability to do a lot of colored stuff. But I took a lot of slides. I had the film developed into slides, thinking that would probably last a lot longer than the paper that they used to develop the pictures. But anyway, when John started this book, we were talking, and he was talking about illustration. I said, well, John, I've got a whole box full of pictures and slides, and of course we went through it, and
Oh,
he
no.
would say, "Oh, I want this one."
That's
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
Oh,
Like a kid in a candy store. When I saw
Yeah.
that, I just saw reference.
Yeah, it worked out really
So
well.
your old art. Now, as the years pass, your art skills, did they change? Are you still the same artist you were then, or yeah? It looks like Joe thinks
I'd
yes.
say he's much better. His
I was gonna say,
watercolor stuff is outstanding. It truly is.
It really is, and I have seen it. So the artwork I saw was not that old. It's within the last 20
Right.
years.
But
Well-
the reason why it looks the way it does is because I wanted it to look that way. I wanted it to look, crude and,
Oh, I
and
got you.
everything,
Okay,
because
okay.
to me that was copying the way that it was when I was doing it.
That makes sense.
Over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it shows you, like kind of what I had to work with and
You guys have to come in and meet the guys who come in on Thursdays. It's the greatest group of veterans, and they vary. I mean, there's a number of them that come in from Vets Helping Vets, but they would love you. You would love them, and I'm sure they would love your book. For everybody listening, just let me reintroduce our guests. First, the book is called 11 Months and 19 Days, a Vietnam Illustrator's Memoir. That illustrator's in this studio, that veteran, that sergeant is in the studio, John Bowen. And I had a call earlier. I'm going to tell you about the call. And Sergeant Joe Martin is in the studio. Did the two of you write the book together? You were no. You wrote the whole book.
I wrote it.
I got the honor of going through the first draft of the manuscript, which was, I don't know what, several pages, a dozen pages, maybe 20 pages at the time.
Yeah.
So the call I had was regarding Hammett Bowen Jr. The call was asking if you were related to him. I don't know if you know that we have a school in town named the Hammett Bowen Jr. Is it an elementary school?
Yes,
Elementary
elementary.
school was named after a Vietnam veteran, a Vietnam soldier who died, and is the only Marion County resident to get the Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no relation.
He was
No.
19. He threw himself on a hand grenade
Oh.
to save his
Wow.
buddies.
I think the average age at the time we were there was, roughly about 19, 20 years old. I
Yeah.
was 20.
Yes.
John was a few years
I was an
older than
old
me.
guy. I was 26. I was married with 2 kids when I went over.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was single at the time.
There you go. Well, your book is very eloquently written and your personality shines through. It is not a textbook by any means. I mean, a
thank
person
you.
can feel like we're really in there from the serious to the silly.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to say, one of the main reasons I wrote the book was because today there's a serious gap between the civilians and the military because of the fact, I think, that a lot of people have no connection with the military anymore today, especially with the no draft. And I hope that this, if a civilian reads it, will get a better understanding of what the military are going through. Because war is war, no matter when it is.
That's right,
You
yeah.
go through a lot of similar things. And even in peacetime, there's still a lot of pressure on the military. And most civilians today don't know anything about it. So I hope if they read this, they'll get a little something out of it.
That's really true. In talk radio, I guess we have a privileged pedestal in a way that where there's no way we can avoid seeing the news or hearing the opinions about the news, especially when it comes to things like what's happening right now in Syria. But the guys in the afternoon did a walkthrough. We have another show that's produced in the afternoon, and they did a walkthrough apparently asking people right here in the mall, and they weren't even aware what Syria was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how little, we have to pay attention to these things. And the military, these are the guys. You were the guys back then
Yeah.
who went there in answer to the country's call to help out. And thank goodness you two survived and came back okay.
And you had educated me on the difference between a staff sergeant and a sergeant. So thank you so much. Staff sergeant, he said, was 4 stripes and a sergeant was 3.
And you understood what that meant? Because
Yeah.
I don't. I don't.
Because John's higher than Joe by 1 stripe.
When you went through the... Did you take any notes besides the illustrations? Let me ask you that way. In other words, did you keep a journal, anything in written form?
No.
No.
All up here.
No, I wished that I had. I really did, because I had to do this thing from scratch. How much longer? 20 years. You know, for like 15 years after I came back, I just put it behind me.
Didn't want it at all.
Didn't talk
was,
about
was
it.
Was part of the reason for that because the country really didn't welcome back Vietnam vets?
Yeah. Part of it. It says in here at the end, there was another war coming to an end, and this time we won, and there was a lot of parades. It was the first Gulf War, and it said the Vietnam vets had to sneak back into the country.
Nothing. You had nothing.
It was just horrible the way you were treated.
Yeah, things go on sometimes so long that people just, you hear so much of it, you just kind of turn it off. You don't want to hear about it. Of course, today the political mindset's a little different. Now it's thank you for your service and all kinds of parades and shows and. Right. In some ways, I think they get into the business of maybe trying to glorify it a little bit too much, and there's nothing to glorify about war.
Well, you had written in one of the chapters about your arrival there, and that was extremely moving, I thought.
When I got in country,
yes,
you mean?
Yes, exactly.
No, it's so scary. I mean, you go over there by yourself, even though you're surrounded by other troops coming in. They're not anybody you know because they're not in your unit, and you go into a totally different unit. You don't know anybody, and you really feel alone and scared because you don't know what you're getting into. There's a war going on. You don't know.
Yeah.
What's going to happen.
You mentioned you were married.
Yeah.
You had 2 children.
2 children.
2 children.
Yeah.
And have they read the book?
I haven't gotten any feedback from them. They all have copies of it, so I don't know. But one of the my oldest daughter she was there. She was alive during my deployment. So, and like 20 years later, she says, "You were in the Army, right, Dad?"
Oh.
And I said, "No." I said I was in the Air Force, and then I got to thinking she doesn't even know about me at that time in my life.
Right.
So I'm going to write a short story and give it to my kids. Well, this is what developed out of that short story.
Oh, okay.
Once I started writing, it just poured out.
And you know why? And the country needs to know that story, and we get that because of the fact that you wanted to give something to your own children, right?
Yes.
And because you guys are so close in those years, I'm guessing, Joe, that your children are also, and I'm assuming you have children. Am I wrong? There?
Two boys.
Yeah. Okay. Have they read the book? And does that?
No.
Does this shed light at all on what you went through? It must. I mean, you went through the same thing at the same time.
Sure, it brings back a lot of memories,
Yeah.
I've had that. I've gotten some feedback from other people that bought the book, and they said that, there's a lot of similarities of what they went through and stuff like that. So
when John would drop by, he'd be up for a visit because he does various art shows, and he'll go. He had one at the Villages and one at Winter Park, and really top-notch stuff if you ever see it. But John would come and stay at the house, and we would kind of rehash over this stuff. And in the process of writing the book, we would hit on some conversations, and John says, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and and we'd kind of make notes to notice. We would know that it would be included in the book. Right. And of course, when we look back at the various slides and pictures that I had, John, I think he ended up taking about half of them. So, yeah, I'm going to put that
back now.
Well, that's all right. Keep it for as long as you need them. Yeah,
But there was one character in the story, my cousin Dean, who was in the Army. He got wounded.
Yep.
And when he was in the field, 3rd Field Hospital, I went to visit him. And he told me what happened to him. And I put my version in there, but years later, I got back in touch with him again, and I had him write his version of what happened, and I used that in the book, his version.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The owner of the station is a Vietnam veteran, Joe.
Yes.
I don't know if you met Joe.
Yeah, we met him.
Yeah.
So, well, hopefully we've made friends with you guys, and we'll see you more often. And I mean, just stop by anytime. I don't know how often you get to the Paddock Mall, but you're always welcome here.
Thank you.
So, tell me about the publishing process. Once the book was done, how did you get it from a manuscript and illustrations into this nice book you have here? 11 months and 19 days.
Well, I went to a seminar about self-publishing because I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to get a publishing company to take my book on. And it was the Middle River Press in Fort Lauderdale. Give them a little advertising, and they were putting it on, and they had some of their authors there, and they were talking about their book, and they had examples of their book there and everything, and I was very impressed with them, and I had them handle all the production work for me, and they got it printed for me. And then, for a fee, of course.
Right.
And I ordered 300 books to start off with, and I paid for those outright, and now I'm in the process of selling those. And once they're done, then I can reorder.
Wow.
And that's the way. I'm sorry. That's the way a lot of the authors today are doing it.
I like how you're able to write this, and you really had to delve into your memory, looking at the pictures, talking amongst yourselves, because this had to be such an emotional roller coaster for you, going back to then and making sure everything was accurate for now.
Yeah. Well, at first, like I said, I put it out of my mind. Now that over the last 20 years, it's been in the forefront all the time. So it actually has affected me. Mm-hmm. And I find sometimes when I'm talking about it that I get...
Yeah, it's hard to go back when you realize you made a very, very embarrassing mistake. It's hard to go back and undo it. And as a nation, we made a hugely embarrassing mistake by not welcoming the Vietnam vets back the way we should have. Mm-hmm. And so, because there are no time machines, we can't go back, we can't redo it. Right. Your book actually helps us understand why we should have, and also gives us a better understanding of who the men were that were serving in Vietnam all those years ago. 11 months and 19 days must have seemed like a million years to you.
It did.
At times.
Yeah. We counted every day. And then what surprised me was all the apprehension about going back home. Mm-hmm. Wondering if you're going to fit back in, and all.
Is that because the word was getting to you over there about what the
that
was
and the fact that you're away for so long, you get used to living the way you are, and then going back, it's like it's strange. When I first got back, it was very strange for me to be back in the world. Mm-hmm. So
I do like the levity about the Mama Sans. I have to bring that up, because with the civilians and the soldiers and everything, you really do provide levity in your book, and you have quite a good balance in there.
Thank you.
Look at the sweet picture at the end. The author in uniform with his sister Judy, mom Helen, and dad John. Mm-hmm. Just a sweet black and white picture of you. A handsome soldier there.
Thank you.
I have not finished the book. I think Robin did. Mm-hmm. So I'm disappointed that I'm going to have to give it away. Am I allowed to give it away, first of all, to a listener? If I have somebody out there who would like this copy, I'll buy my own, I promise.
Yes.
Can I get it as an ebook? Is it available as an ebook?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Can I get it on Amazon?
Not yet either.
Not yet.
I'm working to it.
So I got to go to you to get it.
Yeah,
right
now.
Well, I will. I will go to you. All right, I have a copy of the book right here, and it's called 11 Months and 19 Days. John Bowen is the author. Give me a call. The phone has, look at it lighting up, Robin. Okay, hold on. I got eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who do I want to pick? I'll pick this one right here. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
This is Linda.
Linda. And we're at the mall, right?
Yes, and Larry, you go ahead and finish it and call me when you're done, and then I'll pick it up.
Does Robin have your number?
I'll give it to her.
Well, you have to do that off the air. I don't want you to give your number on the air.
No, but you go ahead and finish it, and Robin can call me when you're done.
But she doesn't know your number.
No.
Hold on. Can you call, all right, can you call back? No, you know what? Just come get it. I'll buy my own. It's okay.
Yeah, we're going to buy our own.
I'll buy my own. It's all right.
All right.
I want to make sure I support John anyway. He put a lot into this. He gave to all of us, so I got to help him out. All right.
Yes, and I want to thank him for his service.
Okay, can you hear her, by the way?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, Linda, it'll be waiting for you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd hate to do that.
I know. No, we'd rather give it away by our own.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Hopefully you've heard that as many times as you should be hearing it, because you didn't hear it when you first came back. And
people are more willing to do that now, it seems like.
It's good.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Right.
But it doesn't change the pain, I guess, from embarrassment of the way we treated you all when you came back. I guess I'm too young to really include myself in on that, but I know. I mean, I know what happened. To both of you, thank you for coming in. Sergeant Joe Martin. Do you like being called Sergeant?
That's a long
You
time.
don't remember, right? Well, Joe Martin, nice to meet you. Thank you for
you.
coming up from the Villages, and Staff Sergeant John Bowen. John Bowen, where do you live?
Actually, I live in Plantation, Florida.
Plantation. So this was quite a ride for you.
Yeah, but I come up to see Joe every so often, hang out together and stuff, and I appreciate you having me on, really. I do.
No, we appreciate you. It's our honor and our pleasure to be able to have hosted you this half hour. Get the book. It's called 11 Months and 19 Days. So there's no website. There's no nothing. Do you want to...
Oh, there's
Well,
John's website.
My
there is a
website
website.
has a page on the book, so
Okay. Oh, that's right. John Bowen, watercolorist.com.
colorist.
And can we buy the book on the website?
No, you have to get
Have
in
to
touch
call
with
you.
me. Yeah.
It's in the early stages.
So do we want to call you? I mean, do you
Just
want to
getting
give out a
going.
phone number so people can call you?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
954
Okay.
370 2061.
All right, hold on. 2061. That was too slow right there. What was the first 6 digits?
954
954
370
370
2061.
Got it. All right, 2061. John Bowen, thank you. Joe Martin, thank you.
Pleasure.
This will be up
For
as a
your
video.
service.
Thank you for everything.
That's great.
Your service
Thanks.
and for coming in.
Thanks very much.
And this video will be up that you can share it with your family and friends. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. And
Wow.
there you go.
Roll.
That's right.
There you go. Show the book to the camera, Rob. Just as we end, we'll show the book to
All
the
right.
camera. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect shot.
That's it.
All right, we will take a little break and we'll be right back. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite